We're here today to learn a little bit about the Lightspeed classroom system that we have in place to monitor Chromebooks. I'm going to show you step by step basically how I would log into this system, and then we'll show you a little bit about what features that I like about it and the features that we can use in the classroom. So the very first thing I have to do is log in. So I bookmarked the site. You can get the site from Shannon's email that tells you where to go to get Lightspeed, the dashboard, and then you click on the classroom. So I have it bookmarked. So I'm going to go to my Lightspeed bookmark, and then I'm going to go to Classroom. There is quite a bit of setup that is involved in starting this process. It doesn't take a long time, but you have to know what to do. Shannon has some videos posted about what to do to set this up, and if you need help, you can always contact a tech coach to come and help you, or Shannon will come and help you as well. So I have mine set up, and right up here in the top left corner I have my periods. So this is my 6th period class, so I'm going to go to 6th period. And now I can see all my students. There's a couple different views. This is a list view, which I don't use very often. If I go over and click on the heat map view, this tells me a little bit about what the students are doing. Then I scroll down and I go to the show all screens view. There's a warning there that it may slow my Wi-Fi. I click continue. And now I can see what all the students' screens have on them. Right now they're taking a short quiz, so I can see what they're doing. When I see something that I don't really want to see, I can click on that and it tells me what the student is doing, and I can lock their screen. Sometimes it doesn't show up immediately. I think it's locked. That's Winston. So I refresh the page, and then I have to hit show all screens again. And now Winston's screen is blocked right here. So I can unblock his screen by clicking on his tile, and then that brings me up to a few other options. I can see what tabs he has open. I can see the browsing history. So this would be during my class period that I have set up, the things that have been clicked on. I can record the history and what's going on. This records still images of what's going on, so when I hit recordings they would show up there. And I can also send some preset messages that are need help, are you done, or great job. I can change the day also, so I can see what happened yesterday or the day before, last month. I can go back in time and see what was happening during my period on the internet. So I'm going to unlock the screen now and back to the internet, and hopefully back to the quiz that they're supposed to be taking through Google Classroom. So now I've just noticed that the students are still taking the quiz for the most part, but I have a student that's finished and started playing a video game, which is not allowed in my room. So I click on that screen and lock the screen. And we'll have a short talk about that at a later time. Now, one of the other features I can do is I'm going to unlock this screen, is I can lock all of the screens if I need to. So if I find that students are not paying attention to me and I'm lecturing at the board and they're too focused on their devices, I may decide to lock all of the screens. And that locks the screens for 5 minutes. So you can see they're starting to get locked here. And it is a little bit quirky now. They're working on improvements all the time. So I do have a few students that are not locked right now, but sometimes if I refresh the page and then lock the screens, or if I individually lock them, like that one. And I do realize that's a little bit cumbersome, so hopefully they'll iron out the bugs on that. And then I can also unlock the screens so that they're not automatically locked for 5 minutes. I can see what's going on a screen. So here I have a student that's doing work for another class during my class, so I may lock that screen. And if there is some kind of an issue, inappropriate internet behavior, I do have their web history. So I can check the student's web history, and we can bring that to an administrator and show them what's happening during this class period. There is an option to share a link. I can bring up something that I want the students to see. So let's see, let's say I want them to see a weather report. So I bring up the weather report on my computer, and I could do a couple different things. I could share my screen. So I'm sharing my screen to all of their screens, and I go to the weather report, and they should be able to see what I'm seeing. Some students are still blocked. Let me unblock them. These are the students I had individually blocked. And I can share a link to all of the students. So I can take the link, copy the link, and then I can share an item in the top left corner, paste the link, and share. The stipulation on sharing a link is the students have to have a web browser open to receive the link that I shared. But as you can see, the students that had a web browser open that didn't already change it, because some changed it immediately, if they change their screen right after I send them the link, but they received the link of the weather report that I just sent. So I could send them an article, a link to an article while we're working on something. Normally I use Google Classroom to send out a link for a few reasons. There's a record of it, of the day we did it. I can put a due date on it, and students that are absent can also see it. But if it's something where I just need them to look at something or read a bit of an article, I can send the link that way as well. There's a few options for blocking the internet. I can turn the internet completely off. So when I go up in the top left corner to the options, I just turn the internet off for the students, and notice that the screens generally froze pretty much immediately. I'm not quite sure why this one's blocked. Oh, these students are going to a website that I previously blocked. So it says, oops, your teacher has blocked this website for now. So I do have some that I've blocked already, so some of these students are trying to visit websites that I've previously blocked. I can go back to default, which means the internet will go back on. And then hopefully this will get improved. There is a custom setting. In the custom setting, I can either restrict browsing to the listed websites and then list the websites here. There is some rules here. You can't put slashes, so it's only the generic website. Or I can block access to the listed websites. For some reason, this is in beta, as you can see up here, these two options only have one list. So I can only choose one or the other from my list. So what I do is keep a list on a Google Doc that I want to use for blocking. And then if I want to restrict to just a specific website, I put that website in each time. Okay, so I'm just going to keep it to my standard settings here. These are all of the websites that I have blocked. By the way, I found these websites by looking at the students' internet history. So when they're playing video games, I watch the video games that they're playing, and then I block them using those links. Okay, so that's that option. Those are those three options, the three internet options. So we have share an item, screen lock, and the internet access options. This tells me a little bit about what students are doing on the internet. It's not super helpful. There's not a lot of details, so I don't really use that very often. but I really just use what's on their screen so I can glance at it and see what the students are working on.